Protesters hit the streets from Union Square to Times Square while you were asleep with a simple and powerful reminder.
If you really want to dignify the life of Eric Gardner, you will do so through peaceful protest.
As traffic was snarled in spots, protesters even received support from drivers that were stuck.
The battle for proper immigration, the need to find a health care system that is indeed fair for everyone, the looming threats from terrorism overseas and here at home, and the issue that has been with us now for generations, racial equality and trust between black, white, brown, yellow, and every color in between. It is the national conversation that can no longer be avoided. It's a pleasure to welcome to MidPoint, former member of the House of Representatives in service to voters in the 16th District of Florida. Republican Mark Foley joins us here on the show. Congressman, good to see you again.
Ed, good to be with you. Very good.
How do we get started here now? Because we now must have this national discussion. It cannot just come from law enforcement. It cannot just come from the people on the streets. It must come from our lawmakers in Washington. Where do we need to start?
Well, we have to recognize why the African American community feels put upon. If you look at the Eric Gardner tape and don't feel compelled that a wrong was established by chokeholding a man when he says he can't breathe, then your sensitivity meter's completely off. Michael Brown's a little bit different. We have to look at the facts of cases, and we shouldn't jump to conclusion. Regrettably, because of media influence and the reporting of these incidents, people lose sight of the facts. That aside, members of Congress, black, white, Hispanic, need to come together and recognize there's still racial tension in America, and it has to be resolved by dialogue, not demonstration.
But are they doing enough, and are a lot of the people in Washington simply so inside the beltway, so insulated, that to them they don't understand what goes on at street level, and many times it's nothing more than demagoguery and blowhardness that they're just speaking every day?
Some don't come from districts where they encounter African Americans on a frequent basis, and I'm not saying that's the norm, but I will suggest to you, if you are from Palm Beach County and go to Belle Glade, you get an understanding of what the life is like of a person living in poverty, and the police are always suspicious that they're going to commit a crime. People who reflect on an African American walking to them and cross the street, afraid they're going to be, those are all signals we wouldn't understand in the sanctity of the House of Representatives. Protected by the police, you can say anything on the House floor with immunity. You're not harassed, or no police officer comes up to you and says, "What are you doing here?" But that doesn't happen to the African American. They're always viewed with suspicion. If you don't understand that in your heart and in your head, you'll never come to a conclusion why we should be talking more forcefully about race relations.
Is not, though, part of that fear consistently being pushed forward by the race baiters of our society, the people such as Al Sharpton and the others, who continually seem to be pushing forward a negative and push and a fight? And not that Louis Farrakhan in the past week has talked about he's going to burn the country down. Doesn't that hurt the overall message? And that's tough to get past.
No question. I think those are the people that incite the problems. Most people recognize there's going to be problems in America with criminal behavior, and if Michael Brown robbed a store and pushed that clerk, as was demonstrated, Al Sharpton shouldn't be defending him. He should be calling for law and order. But what happens is these things get stuck in the paralysis of he said, she said, they said. You don't solve problems that way. But you do have to be sensitive to the fact that we can't view it from our prism. We have to recognize what it's like to be them. But the race baiters, Al Sharpton, incite people. They will not see the wrong created by anyone of color. They say it's all the police's fault. When we lose respect for the police department, we should never do that. We should never assume all police officers are wrong. The Gardner case needs thorough review, and I do welcome the Justice Department's investigation, because the man said he couldn't breathe, and they continued to choke him and kill him.
Justice Department, by the way, said that this whole chokehold case, they said they're going to review that very quickly.
And that's what we need to do. Determine the facts, review the evidence, but not allow the talking heads on either the media or these Al Sharpton types to set the dialogue. What President Obama should be doing is not necessarily just sending Eric Holder to certain sites and say, go to Ferguson, go to New Jersey, go to New York. We should be broadening the conversation because America elected an African-American president, and I refuse to accept the fact that we're racist.
All right, now I'm going to ask you to hold that thought because I have a follow-up for you on that, but we got to take a break. We're going to return with Congressman Mark Foley, turn to the issues also of immigration and the simmering dislike between those who hold power inside that beltway. That and more coming up right here on MidPoint, where we do question everything.